This episode contains themes of violence, magical warfare, psychological trauma, grief, loss, reality manipulation, identity struggles, and cosmic scale destruction. Listener discretion is advised. Magic has always been humanity's oldest dream. The promise that reality is not fixed, that fate can be challenged, that the impossible can become possible if someone possesses the will to reshape the world around them. Most who pursue that dream learn its limits. A rare few learn how to bend those limits, and an even rarer few learn how to break them entirely. Tonight, the Crucible welcomes two women who have done exactly that. One who inherited a legacy of magic and transformed herself into one of the world's greatest sorcerers her world has ever known. The other was born from tragedy, forged from grief, and became a force capable of rewriting reality itself. Zatanna Zatara, Wanda Maximoff. Both heroes, both protectors, both women who have stood at the center of catastrophes powerful enough to reshape entire worlds. But power is never free. Every spell leaves a mark. Every sacrifice leaves a scar. Every act of creation carries the possibility of destruction. Tonight, those truths collide, because when two masters of reality stand face to face, reality itself may not survive the encounter. Welcome to Chaos Crucible, where legends clash, worlds break, and only the truth survives the wreckage. Tonight's battle takes us beyond strength, beyond speed, and even beyond conventional magic. This confrontation is between two women who command forces capable of reshaping existence themselves. One is a stage magician, a sorceress, and one of the foremost mystical defenders of her universe. The other is a witch born from loss, whose powers grew so vast that entire realities bent beneath her grief. Tonight we ask a question that challenges the very foundations of magic itself. What happens when mastery meets potential? When discipline confronts emotion? When the mistress of magic stands before the Scarlet Witch? Prepare yourself. The spells are forming. The hex is awakening. And the Crucible is about to witness a battle that could tear reality apart. Power is often mistaken for the beginning of a story. It isn't. Before the spells, before the miracles, before entire realities bent to their will, there were simply two young women trying to survive worlds that demanded more from them than anyone should ever have to give. To understand the forces standing in the Crucible tonight, we must first understand the pain that's shaped them. Because magic may define their abilities, but suffering defined the women who wield it. Power rarely begins with greatness. More often, it begins with pain. For Wanda Maximoff and Zatanna Zatara, power emerged from their lives shaped by expectations, sacrifice, and loss. Though their journeys could not be more different. Both women learned early that extraordinary gifts often compared with extraordinary suffering. Zatanna was born into a world of wonder, the daughter of legendary magician Giovanni Zatara. She inherited not only immense magical potential, but also the weight of a family legacy stretching back generations. Magic was part of her identity long before she fully understood it, yet the glamour and mystery surrounding her childhood hid difficult truths. Every lesson brought new responsibilities. Every spell revealed greater dangers. As she grew older, Zatanna learned that protecting the world from mystical threats often meant sacrificing pieces of her own happiness. She watched loved ones suffer. She endured failures that haunted her conscience, and she carried burden of knowing that one mistake could unleash horrors beyond imagination. Wanda's childhood offered no such wonder. Her earliest memories were shaped by war, destruction, and fear. Violence stole her parents. Poverty and conflict stole her innocence. The world taught her that survival was never guaranteed. When she and her brother volunteered for Hydra's experiments, they were desperate for a way to change their circumstances. Instead, those experiments unlocked forces neither of them truly understood. Wanda's life became a relentless cycle of attachment and loss. Pietro died. Vision died. That future she imagined disappeared again and again. Every time Wanda reached happiness, it seemed destined to slip through her fingers. Both women learned that power could not protect them from grief. Both discovered that the people they loved could still be taken away. And yet, they responded differently. Zatanna sought mastery. Wanda sought meaning. One dedicated herself to understanding magic so that it could never control her. The other found herself consumed by forces tied directly to her emotions and pain. Their stories are not merely origins. They are foundations. They are the wounds that shaped every choice that followed. They remind us that the most dangerous power often belongs to those who understand suffering better than anyone else. Pain forged them. Loss shaped them. But tragedy alone does not create legends. What transformed Wanda Maximoff and Zatanna Zatara into figures capable of shaking entire universes was what they did with those wounds. Both found power. Both embraced magic. Yet the path they followed could not be more different. One learned to master reality through knowledge. The other learned she could simply change it. And that difference may be the most important factor in this entire battle. Magic is more than power. It is philosophy. It is intention. It is the lens through which someone views the universe. Few matchups demonstrate that truth better than Wanda Maximoff and Zatanna Zatara. Zatanna's magic is built upon knowledge. She has spent years studying the mystical arts, learning ancient secrets, mastering spells, and refining techniques that most practitioners could never hope to comprehend. Her trademark backwards incantations are more than a signature style. They are evidence of discipline and control. Through them, she can manipulate matter, alter minds, summon barriers, teleport across vast distances, banish supernatural entities, and reshape reality itself. Her power is vast, but it remains grounded in understanding. Every spell has purpose. Every action is deliberate. Zatanna approaches magic like a master musician performing a symphony she has spent her whole life practicing. Wanda's powers operate differently. Her abilities do not bend reality. They challenge the very concept of its limits. What began as probable manipulation evolved into something far greater. Chaos magic transformed Wanda into a force unlike almost any her universe had ever seen. She can alter matter on a molecular level, create life, erase existence, manipulate minds across entire populations, and reshape reality according to her will. Her magic is not structured by tradition or constrained by centuries of study. It is deeply connected to emotion, instinct, and desire. And this creates a fascinating contrast. Zatanna's greatest strength is control. Wanda's greatest strength is possibility. Zatanna understands magic as a system that must be respected. Wanda often treats reality itself as something that can be rewritten. One woman speaks words that command the universe. The other decides the universe should be different. And somehow, reality listens to both. Power is impressive. Magic is extraordinary. But neither guarantees victory. History is filled with powerful beings who fell because they lacked the wisdom to wield the gifts when it mattered the most. The battlefield demands more than strength. It demands instinct, adaptability, the will to survive when everything begins to fall apart. And that brings us, perhaps, to the most important question of all. How do these women fight when reality itself becomes a weapon? Power may shape a battlefield, but experience determines how that power is used. And this is where the comparison becomes especially fascinating. Zatanna possesses one of the greatest tactical minds in magical combat. She has battled demons, sorcerers, gods, and reality-warping threats throughout her career. Years of experience have taught her how to adapt under pressure, and identify weaknesses in opponents who appear invincible. She understands magical systems better than almost anyone alive. More importantly, she knows how to remain composed in situations that would overwhelm lesser heroes. Her battles are rarely won through brute force alone. They are won through creativity, preparation, and intelligence. Wanda approaches combat from a very different perspective. Her power is not built around efficiency. It is built around overwhelming force. When Wanda commits to a battle, she does not simply seek advantages. She transforms the battlefield itself. Entire strategies can become meaningless when reality begins changing at her whim. Wanda's greatest strength lies in her unpredictability. Traditional counters often fail because traditional rules no longer apply. Opponents cannot prepare for every possibility when the possibilities themselves are shifting constantly. Yet both women share something important. Neither has survived because of power alone. Both have endured impossible circumstances. Both have faced overwhelming enemies. Both have stood in situations where failure meant catastrophe. They have survived because possessing extraordinary determination. They refuse to surrender. They refuse to break. Zatanna fights with confidence of someone who understands her abilities completely. Wanda fights with the conviction of someone who has already survived the worst pain imaginable. And that determination makes them every bit as dangerous as the magic they wield. Origins tell us who they are. Powers tell us what they can do. Experience tells us how they fight. Now comes the question that Chaos Crucible was built to answer. What happens when all of those pieces collide? When mastery meets possibility? When discipline confronts chaos? When two women capable of reshaping existence decide neither one is willing to back down? The arena awaits, reality trembles, and the battle is about to begin. The Crucible awakens, not as an arena, but as a living universe. Stars drift beneath transparent floors. Galaxies spiral overhead. Entire dimensions flicker into existence and vanish again in the span of a heartbeat. Reality feels unstable here, as though the battlefield itself understands the magnitude of what is about to occur. Zatanna arrives first, calm, focused, prepared. Ancient wards shimmer around her like invisible armor. Arcane symbols glow beneath her feet. Her eyes scan the battlefield with practiced precision, already calculating possibilities before the fight has even begun. And then Wanda appears. Scarlet energy pours from her hands like liquid starlight. The arena shudders. Space bends. The air itself seems to recoil at her presence. Wanda stands silently, grief and determination lingering beneath her gaze like old ghosts. For a moment, neither woman moves. And then Zatara speaks. A single backwards command that echoes across the arena. Realities obey. Mountains erupt from the floor. Chains of luminous energy lash through the air. Entire sections of the battlefield transform into weapons designed to contain and overwhelm. Wanda raises her hand. The mountains dissolve into dust. The chains become harmless ribbons drifting through the void. The battlefield rewrites itself. The clash escalates instantly. Zatanna responds with wave after wave of increasing complex spells. Teleportation, transmutation, dimensional manipulation, protective barriers layered on top of one another with breathtaking precision. Wanda answers with raw reality warping. Spells unravel before reaching her. Space twists. Time fractures. Entire attacks vanish as though they had never existed. The Crucible groans beneath the strain. Stars crack. Gravity reverses. The laws governing existence begin to collapse under the pressure of the two women refusing to yield. For every spell Zatanna casts, Wanda finds a way to break it. For every reality alteration Wanda creates, Zatanna finds a way to endure. The battle becomes less about victory and more about survival. Mastery against probability, control against chaos, knowledge against limitless potential. And as reality itself begins to fracture around them, the Crucible discovers a terrifying truth. Some battles are simply too large for the universe to contain. And then, silence. Not because the battle lacked fury, not because the magic faded, but because some conflicts are too vast for simple answers. The dust settles, the stars begin to mend, reality slowly remembers its shape, and we are left with the same question that has haunted the Crucible since the beginning. What does victory truly mean when both combatants stand among the greatest forces their worlds have ever known? There are battles where victory feels inevitable. This, however, is not one of them. Wanda Maximoff and Zatanna Zatara stand among the most powerful magical figures the world has ever produced. And yet, what makes them fascinating is not the scale of their abilities. It is the humanity that exists beneath them. Both understand sacrifice. Both understand loss. Both have paid terrible prices for the power they wield. Zatanna represents discipline, the belief that power must be understood before it can be trusted. Wanda represents responsibility, with a belief that reality itself can be transformed when the will to change it becomes strong enough. Neither philosophy is right. Neither is entirely wrong. And perhaps that's why this battle it resonates so deeply. Because beneath the spells, beneath the cosmic destruction, beneath the impossibility of display's power, this story remains about two women trying to carry burdens no one should ever have to bear. The Crucible may host their conflict, but it is their humanity that truly defines it. This has been Chaos Crucible, a battle between two women capable of reshaping existence itself. A sorceress who mastered magic through discipline and knowledge, and a witch who transformed grief into a force powerful enough to right reality. Tonight we witnessed more than a clash of spells. We witnessed a collision of philosophies, a confrontation between true legends whose powers extend far beyond anything most worlds could survive. But the Crucible rests. More challenges wait beyond the horizon. More impossible battles are yet to come. And somewhere, another legend is already preparing to step into the arena. Until next time, stay curious, stay reckless, and stay ready. Because in the Crucible, reality is only as strong as the people willing to break it. If you liked tonight's episode, please check out my other shows, as well as my friends at Fandoms and Hey Anime, and let them know I sent you. Till then, this has been Chaos Crucible.